Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our October 2023 OC HMS meeting. Please enter your agency name into the chat. Listed on the slide would be the topics our team will be covering. The 2024 HMS Data Standard Release, Project Setup Form, some tips about the annual assessment report, Head of Household Errors, HMS account update, some tips about logging into OC, Clarity, an announcement about the project performance report, and sharing some training updates. And we will leave some time for Q&A and for any questions related to the topics that we covered today. And we also have some time at the end to participate in office hours for any questions, general questions about HMS and HMS functionality. The HMS team wanted to share a reminder that the 2024 HMS data standards are released as of October 1st. Please review the updated standard manual for guidance on the updated data elements and how to collect those data elements. Some of the updates you may have noticed is the gender response have been updated on the profile screen, as well as race and ethnicity is now a single field. Our team also wanted to thank you in advance as the updates are continuing to be rolled out by our vendor. If you may have any questions or encounter any errors, please have your agency admin submit a ticket to the HMS help desk so that we can offer additional support and investigate the error. Again, thank you for your patience. Please also note that starting October 1st, for most reporting upload, you will need to use the 2024 report. For example, the HMS team will be supporting with uploading the CAPER reports, and on the information page of SAGE, it indicates that we have to use the 2024 CAPER. Please allow yourself some time to verify the upload is accepted. If your upload is rejected, please have your agency admin support with reviewing if it's due to a data quality issue. If it's determined to be an upload error due to the format, please have the agency admin submit a ticket to the HMS help desk, and our team will escalate those tickets to our vendor for additional support. Diana?
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to go over a few of the 2024 HMIS data standards and point out a couple of things for the community. So first, we wanted to let you know that the updates are out and that there have been changes to certain fields. So with these changes, we know that a client may change their answer based on these updated fields. So we would like to have you discuss with your clients when appropriate to ensure that the data is correct. For service providers, it's up to you to determine when the appropriate time will be to discuss the fields, but likely the best time is during the annual assessment to check and make sure that the field answers are correct. Obviously, for new clients, they will be presented with these new fields, so those answers would be fine. This is for existing clients that are in the system. Next slide, please. And again, we do have some form updates for the 2024 data standards update. The data collection forms will be updated, and this is an ongoing project. We will be publishing additional English and Spanish forms as they become available. The forms are available on the OC HMIS website under the HMIS Forms and Documents tab. And then when you click on that, you're going to have the option to select Client Data Collection Forms section. And that's where all the forms will be located. Currently, the two forms that we have updated and is current with the new state data standards are the no federal funding English intake and English exit, and then the same for the COC ESG English intake and English exit. As I said, please be patient with this sort of ongoing project. We're updating the forms as quickly as possible, and we'll be posting them to our website. If you use hyperlinks on your own website, or if you have bookmarks, please make sure that they are pointing to the new 2024 forms.
Thank you, Diana. I don't see any questions, so we'll move forward for right now. Armando?
Hello, good morning, everybody. Going along with the updates with the 2024 HMIS data standards, we've also revised our HMIS project setup form. So this has been updated to match the new standards. On the screen, you can see that the emergency shelter project type is now broken into two options: the emergency shelter entry and exit, and then the emergency shelter night by night option is two different options to be able to be selected from on the drop-down list. The second addition has been for the PH rapid rehousing. It now includes a subtype. So when the selection for rapid rehousing is made on the drop-down list, a new field will come up asking you to specify whether it's a services only project or if it's housing with or without any services. And as you're referencing the new data standards manual, you can reference specifically pages 27 through 30 for more details on these. Next slide, please. Additionally, on the project setup form, we've also included two new fields. One that asks if this project conducts coordinated entry access activities. And if it's yes, then on the second drop-down, on the right, you will see that there's the option to specify what is provided by that coordinated entry project, whether it's homelessness prevention assessment, screening, and or referral, the shelter assessment, screening, and or referrals, housing assessments, screening, and or referrals. And then additionally, a yes response to whether the project receives coordinated entry referrals is to indicate this project is accepting referrals and placements through the coordinated entry system. If there are any questions on any of these updates to the project setup form, you can feel free to add your question to the chat below.
Thank you, Armando. I don't see any questions right now, but we can always revisit questions during Q&A. So we'll move forward for right now. Linda?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to go over some guidance on how to review errors for question Q6A. This is regarding personal identifying information on the APR upload. So this question reports the unknown or missing information about each PII element as well as other data issues. So personally identifiable information, PII, relates to the name, date of birth, gender, race, ethnicity, or social security number that would allow the user to be able to identify the client in the database. So this is very important because complete PII is critical to a system's ability to deduplicate and merge client records. Data issues look at any record where the information is not present because the client didn't know the response, preferred not to provide the response, or the information is missing, or the response is not consistent with protocols established for the data quality of the element. Can you go to the next slide, please? So, for this, you would need to review and identify client records flagged in that section for this question, and you would need to correct it as appropriate. For the client doesn't know, client refused section, there should not be any clients who do not know or refuse the name or date of birth because this field is required for all clients. As for the information missing column, any value that is considered information missing is an error, such as for the name, social security number, date of birth. This means that the data quality or the data type question has not been completed. And then also, for some cases, you may need to leave a note with your report submission. For example, there are some newborns who do not have a social security number. So that data field will need to be updated once that information is available.
Thank you, Linda. And to provide a little bit more context, these are universal data elements that are required to be collected by all product types, regardless of funding. This is required to be collected in HMIS. However, if a client prefers not to share, you would still select prefers not to share, but note that that response will be counted as an error as there's no information and it is not a valid response. Thank you, Linda. I don't see any questions at the moment, so we'll move forward. Heather?
Morning, everyone. I'm going to go over the Q6C data quality, income and housing data quality question on the APR and some common reasons for the information missing errors you might receive and how to fix them. So the Q6C question reports errors associated with the core performance measures, housing destination and income. So the chart on the right shows an example of an APR from the Clarity training site where you'll find the data elements listed in the first column and the information missing in the third column. So there are 4 data elements which go into this question: destination, and then 3 associated with income and sources. Income and sources at start, at annual assessment, and at exit. So the first row, destination, shows that there are 50 clients with an error. Responses that will cause this error are data not collected and no exit interview. Try to make corrections to these responses, but uncorrected, they will be reported as errors. A common correctable issue is regarding the annual assessment. It was either not completed or it was completed outside the 30-day window. So 30 days before the project's the annual anniversary of the project start for the head of household, or 30 days after. So to complete the assessment or update the date created within the 30-day window of that head of household's project start. And please remember that all adults in the household must have an annual assessment completed regardless of when they started. So the date for the annual assessment is based upon the head of household's project start. Next screen, please. So this screen shows errors with income and sources, which all have similar error causes. So for income and sources at start, which is color-coded in red, a common correctable issue would be from the enrollment screen, income from any source, which shows a yes, but the source and amount isn't entered, it's left blank. Likewise, with the income and sources and annual assessment color-coded gold, this can also be affected by a missing source and amount when income from any source is yes. And another error source again, is regarding that annual assessment. Either it wasn't completed or the assessment was completed outside of the 30-day window. And for income and sources at exit, which is color-coded blue, that is also affected by income from any sources, yes, but the source and amount is not entered, as well as a response for if you put no exit interview. So in short, for all these errors, check the income at source responses, check the dates of the annual assessments or whether they're even available, and then correct any data not collected or no exit interview as best you can. Next screen, please. So to help you mitigate these errors, the APR preparation dashboard was designed to find common errors with enrollments, which might cause problems when submitting the APRs. To access, as you can see from the steps on the right from the top, you click on the Launchpad and go to Reports, then go to Data Analysis, and then Built-in Reports. And there you'll find the APR preparation dashboard. So on the bottom is an example of what you'll see. You'll see the filters at the top, 5 tiles, and a graph. So the tiles show common errors, clients' IDs, which have a project start after project exit, a date of birth after project start, a move-in date after project exit, a move-in date before project exit, and households with more than one head of household. And then there's a graph on the right, and that's the annual assessment status graph, and it contains markers for completed out of range, due in 30 to 60 days, past due, and due. So this is a fully interactive dashboard where you can click on the tiles or click on the graph to get client details. And then from there, you can go directly into Clarity to fix the errors. View this dashboard regularly to stay on top of errors and prevent headaches during your APR process. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Heather. We did have a question if all project types are required an annual assessment, and it is based on the funding source of the project and depending on the project type. And we will provide additional details. We will be referencing the HMIS data standard to provide more guidance on projects that are required to complete the APR.
And I forgot to, oh, sorry, Elizabeth. I forgot to say that I'll put in the chat some links to our KBs and the HUD guidance.
Thank you, Heather. Yes, and we will add additional notes in our meeting minutes, so thank you for your question. To continue on discussing about some errors that would affect reporting, head of household errors does also affect APRs, paper uploads, and other reports. We will review some common errors and how to fix those errors. You would notice on the right-hand side is a screenshot of a report that was ran on the training site. This is also available on the live site. Please follow the pathway listed on the slide. So you will be navigating to the Launchpad and click Reports, then click on the Data Analysis tab, and then click on the Built-in Reports folder. The LSA Data Cleanup Head of Household Data dashboard is available within that folder. The most common error occurs when a head of household leaves the program while the other members are still participating. To correct this error, a new head of household needs to be assigned. The next step after reassigning the new head of household is adjusting the relationship to the other household members to the new head of household. This also includes the previous head of household that has left. You'll notice on the screen, the first tile will show enrollments that do not have a head of household. So you'll see the count is 0 and it'll list the ID of those clients in that enrollment. The other head of household error occurs when a minor is set as the head of household. When a group enrollment when it's in a group enrollment, we need to reassign the head of household to the appropriate client. And once you assign the appropriate head of household, you would need to also then adjust the minor status to reflect their relationship to the head of household. In that example, you'll see that would be in the second tile, listing the minors who are the head of household. You'll see their age, and they are assigned the head of household. When a minor is the only member in the enrollment, this is an individual enrollment. This could have occurred by accident, enrolling the minor in a project on their own. To correct this error, the agency admin will need to submit a ticket to the HMIS help desk so that we can merge the enrollments and it will become a group enrollment. So you'll see that will be the third tile where they're the only member in that enrollment. I don't see any questions regarding head of household errors, so we'll move forward for right now. Michaela?
Good morning, everyone. So we have the HMIS account update form, a friendly reminder that only agency admins can submit a HMIS account update form on behalf of a user. So one, we want to have the user submit a screenshot of their online training transcript to verify all the appropriate training courses are complete for their access role. And then two, for users who need access to CES, to make sure they select the correct CES for the user that they will participate in, which is pictured over to the right at the top. You also want to select the access role they hold at their agency, which is pictured over to the right, the follow-up CES question. And then we also have housing provider as a new option. And can you go to the next slide, please? And then we have logging into Clarity and a few tips as well. So for tip number one, accessing the Clarity live site. So we do have two websites that are quite similar, which is the training website and the live website. So we want to make sure that we're accessing the live website, which is pictured over to the right. And then we have tip number two, password reset link not working. So you may have missed the time frame to reset your password and will need to request to reset the account password again. If the link from the password reset email is not working and you get a password reset token error, you may have missed the time frame for the link, and the password reset link is only valid for 60 minutes. Tip number three, disabled due to inactivity. Your account will be set to inactive if you're not logged into Clarity for 60 days. If your account was reactivated, you would need to log in within 24 hours. If you receive an error that your account has been disabled due to activity, or if you receive the email below, your HMIS account has been deactivated. This will occur if you get logged out for the 60 days, or if your account was reactivated and you didn't log in within the 24-hour time frame. Tip number four, no password reset email. So please check your spam folder for a reset email. Sometimes it goes there. If not, contact your IT team with the following information so that way they can investigate the settings on the network. Please supply them with the link to the article so that way they can investigate why the email has not been delivered. And then we also provided the KB for troubleshooting logging into HMIS.
Thank you, Michaela. And just to add a little bit of more notes, we have been receiving some tickets about login, so we kind of wanted to share the different tips so that users and agency admins can use these tips to support with logging in. Some users are participating in other COCs, so they may be logging into a different Clarity. So as mentioned in tip 1, just make sure that you're reviewing the URL and make sure that it does say OC Clarity and making sure that you're on the right site and logging in with the appropriate username and password. Thank you, Michaela. I don't see any questions about logging in or the HMS account form, so we'll move forward. Andrew?
Hey everyone, good morning. The project performance report for permanent supportive housing and other permanent housing projects will be published next Thursday. We'll also be reaching out to agency administrators about rapid rehousing draft data, and that will be uploaded into your agency Dropbox next week. So thank you in advance for the agency administrators looking at that draft data and making any corrections in HMIS if needed. As always, current and past project performance reports can be found on our website by navigating to the report section and clicking on that PPR tab. And if you do have any questions about the project performance report, feel free to leave it in the chat. But we also have the project performance overview document, which kind of outlines our publishing schedule and the data points that we look at, as well as the thresholds for each goal in the project performance reports.
Andrew, we don't have any questions about the PPR, so we'll move forward.
And just a quick announcement, HUD is hosting their HMIS Data Analytics On-Demand course. So cohort 10 is starting in October 16th, 2023. And this is an introductory course to HMIS data analytics, and it covers HMIS data standards, how to pull a CSV file from HMIS, and then some basic Excel functionality for looking at that CSV file for ad hoc reporting. So if you're interested in brushing up on your data analytics skills, or maybe you're a new HMIS user, definitely feel free to check that out. We have the information linked on our website. And this is an on-demand asynchronous course, so there's no real rigid schedule. There's no like live sessions that you have to attend. It's kind of just go at your own pace. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chats, but definitely check it out on our website if you're interested in that.
Thank you, Andrew. I don't see any questions coming in. And thank you, Heather. We added that link into the chat for those who are interested in participating. Please review the link and register. We also have that available on our website with additional information, and it will also be included in our meeting minutes that will also be sent out as a recap for all. So for those who joined us a little bit later in the meeting, please feel free to enter your agency name into the chat so we can take attendance. We do have some time for Q&A. Please let us know if you have any questions related to topics that we discussed today. Any other topics, we'll save that for office hours. And our HMS team also want to use this time to collect any topics that the community would like us to discuss in future meetings. Please feel free to go ahead and add any topics that you would like to have us prepare to present on. You can just put topic, colon, and then the topic that you're interested in us presenting. Thank you, Natalie, for your question about the next data management performance meeting. We will be resuming that meeting in November, so we'll be sending out an update once that meeting is going to be live. So you'll see an update in our November user meeting. So we got a question about the newsletter, subscribing to the mailing list. So please go ahead and enter your email, and we'll check our records to make sure that it is being sent to you and not, if there's no errors with your email. I don't see any questions coming in about any of the topics we discussed today. We just want to say thank you all for joining us. Our next meeting will be November 1st, the next user meeting. So for those who don't want to participate in office hours, you're feel free to log off. But the HMS team will be staying on for office hours to address any questions about HMIS and HM functionality.